Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is my review of the Cessna L-19 Bird Dog by BlackBox Simulation for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This add-on was 25 euros or 40 Canadian dollars, which translates to about 29 US dollars. This add-on includes 3 variants to the aircraft, with both the standard aircraft, a bush variant with larger tires, and an amphibious version. Now, I'm a sucker for pontoons like I am for nothing else, so I was pretty excited to get this in hand. There will be a few twists and turns along the way, but I was pleasantly surprised to find 2 very different models included with this package, so we'll start with the standard model before we move to the Lake Hopper. I also want you to understand up front that I'm going to brief over some of these things very quickly to not waste too much of your time, because there are bigger fish to fry with this package, unfortunately. First of all, the exterior model. Under most circumstances, this thing looks pretty good. It's no Coronado model. It could have a higher polygon count and some better textures that when you get really close you can sort of see them break down a bit. But in any of these shots, clearly you can see the thing looks pretty nice. And that's probably a touch understated. As we switch to the interior of the aircraft, things start to go downhill. First of all, this is your default view. This is your instrument view, and this is some other view. All of the views you may have gotten used to in the default aircraft by using the POV hat switch for up and down for the instruments and then left and right to go through the instrument views don't exist on this. The only way to get that strange instrument view is Control 1, or whatever the short key for the instrument view is. This is indicative of the polygon count and textures you're going to get on the interior, which are Flight Simulator X at best. I'm guessing this was a port from that and just probably got some higher res textures and overlaid them on the existing model. And of course those gauges that look like they've been in a fire, and I don't know if it's the model itself or the texture or reflections here, but they have all types of little bugs and quirks and look like they've been burnt. We're just looking around the rest of the model here, and it honestly just looks like a model from FSX. And this just doesn't cut it, in my opinion, for a $40 model. And it's not just the wrong look at the gauges. Look at the lines here, like the polygon count in this model. There's not one round surface in this whole model. There's not one round gauge. It just ruins the experience. It's not a Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 experience. If this were a $10 model, I might let this go. But this is a $40 model. So I expect it to compete with the likes of the other planes that cost the same as this. Okay, let's switch gears. I start cold and dark here, but oh no, wait. No, I started on a runway. I didn't start cold and dark. Why is my flashlight on? I'm on a runway and ready to take off. And by default, the flashlight's on. So now I have to figure out which key binding I have the flashlight binded to get it turned off so I can see out the window to take off. What doesn't help me here is that although the switches are clearly labeled on is down, I've never seen anything like it. So I was actually confused and thought that I had started the model in cold and dark when in fact I'm ready to take off on the runway, and this is my confusion reading that it's on down but not quite grasping that idea yet. I have seen aircraft that have on the instrument panel on is up and on the overhead on is down, and that's always known that on is towards the glare shield. That's pretty common, especially in older aircraft. But I've never seen every switch in an aircraft where off is in the up position and on is in the down position. But hey, maybe some of the older aircraft did. I took a look at a lot of source material on Cessna L-19s online to see that if I could find one that has this configuration. I cannot. In fact, I cannot find any aircraft that have this configuration. But hey, comments below. You guys are a much better research team than me late at night with a coffee trying to get this review done. So let me know, because I'd be interested to know if this is some strange German or Euro configuration that I'm unaware of. That being said, once I got the flashlight off and started playing with the instrument lights, I thought, hey, why not have put one of these on by default when you're starting on a runway ready to go? You got the red light so it doesn't kill your eyesight, the instrument dials are nicely lit, and there's a nice panel light. Why would you have the flashlight on by default on a runway start? Anyways, let's move on. I can overlook things because you got to remember, there's a pontoon boat coming. That's okay. We'll start cold and dark again, and I'll just figure out how to start this thing, and then we'll take it for a flight. So I just, where's the where is the instrument? Where's the plane? Just loaded this up, started cold and dark, and I'm not sure if I got transported to an alternate universe here, but this plane is either the best Microsoft Flight Simulator plane ever released or the worst. I'm pretty sure it's not invisible. That's okay. After a restart and a few tries at this, I realized that if you flip to the exterior view and then back into the cockpit, everything works. Stupid me. Alright, fuel selector tank. We need that first. It's quite obviously starting in the off position, and I'm going to have to select main or aux. And what fuel selector? All is at the bottom. Right, so my options are all, aux, or main, but they're saying left or right. Okay, so I can't for the life of me figure out how to actually turn this selector. I got it off of what I thought was off, what should be off, but it was saying all. So I'm guessing that if I put it in the bottom position, I don't have to select the tanks while I'm flying, but that's not accurate to the aircraft. Now I'm getting confused. I can't figure out how to switch. Oh, there, I switched it. I don't even know what I did. Oh, I'm clicking and dragging, and it flips it, but I can't get it back to the off position or the all position, whichever one it is. This was a bit frustrating to say the least, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure it'll go uphill from here. And the confusion with the on-off switches is still plaguing me, but that's okay because I found a amp volt switch that shows both of them on my load meter. Unfortunately, it's not modeled, so that's useless. Alright, forget that. Let's get this thing started. I've got fuel. I got it on the right or main tank. And let's get down here and take a look at our battery down, alternator down for on. We'll get our fuel pump switch on, our magnetos to both. Oh, can't, God, how do I grab this? These bloody things. I think that maybe I'll try the mouse wheel. Will the mouse wheel do it, please? Yes, so the mouse wheel does it. Use the mouse wheel. Of course, that makes me zoom. I hate that, but that's fine. And now put our beacon on so that we don't kill any birds in the area, and start. Start. Here we go. We're off to the races. Or not. Okay, well, my mixture was full. My throttle was about an inch in. Let's try different throttle positions and the start again. I don't know. Do I have the throttle position wrong? Am I missing something here? There's like nothing to this aircraft. There's nothing to miss. I cannot for the life of me get this thing started. It's probably that darn fuel selector once I switch to main or aux. So let's restart this again, and it'll start on the off position or all position. Either way, it'll be there and everything will work out fine. And oh, perfect. Restarted it, cold and dark. There won't be any issues now. By the way, don't touch that. So let's go down to the instrument panel and let's see, mixture, full, throttle, inch off. We can, let's see, get our boost pump. We don't even really need that. Battery on. And let's see, both magnetos start. Come on, baby. And nothing. Let's try with our boost pump. I kept thinking maybe I flooded the thing or something. Like, is it modeled this well that I'm flooding it? Let's try it again. Start. The only thing left, I've been playing with every one of these things for a while. If I go over to the magnetos, maybe I can, what? If I scroll the magnetos, it actually starts it. What? If I didn't hit the starter switch there at all. So somewhere the starter switch is modeled in those magnetos. Okay, you know what though? I know how to start this thing. Don't touch the fuel, battery on, boost pump on, scroll the magnetos back and forth until it starts. Yeah, it's pretty easy. But it needs to be repeatable. So exit out one more time and let's try this again. All right, cold and dark one more time, and this should be easy. We just don't touch the fuel. Are you kidding me? It's on the aux tank now by default. Every time I start this thing, it's in a different position. I don't know what's going on anymore with this. I honestly don't. And now I have a new problem. See my flight stick there? It's cocked over to the left. I'm right now moving the flight controls all around. I'll let you listen. And they're not moving or being modeled. That's me moving my joystick all around and trying to see why none of the switches work and why the flight stick is frozen and I can't turn the battery switch on or anything. So I kind of click around and do it by memory. Battery on, fuel boost pump on, scroll the magnetos. None of them actually react to any of this because the interior model is frozen. But believe it or not, I think congratulations are in order because I got my first full cold and dark start out of the Cessna. And I gotta say, I'm feeling pretty stoked to get flying. Alright, so the magic moment's coming up. This is where I scroll the magnetos. Listen to that come alive and look at that prop spinning. Now, I guess the whole model is frozen. Well, the compass light works. Also, fun fact, sitting on a VOR station reduces the life of your CDI. Alright, none of that matters. I've restarted again, the model's working, and I found a new way to cold and dark start. It is called Control E. We are ready to fly. So let's bring this up and over. I do enjoy the sounds of the creaking and crackling. I don't know if I would in real life as much as I do in sim, but it does give an extra bit of ambience to this. And here we go, we're going to take down this runway. I will make mention of something while we're departing here. There was no sounds during the rest of all those clips except for some of the starting sounds because there are no sounds modeled on any of the switches or pretty much anything else for that matter. So anyways, push forward a little bit on the stick to get us up on two wheels and get that tail wheel up. Whoa, this is squirrely, but I think she probably is in real life too. And as we get past 60 mile an hour here, why won't it come off the ground? Oh my goodness. And I'm almost full stick back and it does not want to climb and it's nowhere near stall speed. So it is the trim. It was default. In fairness, it might have been me. I don't think it was because we just cold and darked and Control E started and took off. But anyways, that took almost the full deflection of my HOTAS to pull off the ground there. I'm also pretty sure that VOR station is following us. Now, in my opinion, if you don't have tracking or head tracking software, this model's kind of unplayable. If I have it zoomed out as far as the model will allow me right now, and that's sort of where I would normally keep it. This is the default view. I'll show you here and reset it. That's what it would look like. And remember, you don't have an instrument view on your POV switch, but I mean, you could map Control 1, I guess, for that really strange one that looks like you're in the back seat. But this is the default view. Kind of this, I'm leaning over the dashboard, looking at my nose view. And when you look left or right, you kind of have a pillar in the face view. Yeah, I thought you should see that because I don't know how this would be to fly if you didn't have head tracking software and be able to zoom right out to the full extent this model will allow. Anyways, on to greener pastures and the exterior where this model excels. Oh my God, what is that? Yeah, come on. Come on, this is what you had going for you. All right, back and side exterior views only. Yeah, there we go. Just testing out all the control surfaces on this puppy, and they're all modeled. And wow, that does look good. And I haven't even gotten to the amphibian yet. I love the way that landing gear hangs there because the weight of the aircraft's off it. That is modeled really well. But no more messing around. Let's get right to this sucker here. And my biggest concern was, is this going to feel any different than the bush plane? Of course, since then I've had a lot more other concerns, as I pointed out. But anyways, let's get through this guy. I'm happy to report that it doesn't taxi like a tail dragger anymore, because it shouldn't. It's on pontoons with 4 wheels now. And you can feel the difference. Clearly, right from the start, you feel the difference in both the taxi and ground handling. And I haven't gone back and forth enough, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't placebo effect. I felt the difference of the pontoons in the air. It felt a little heavier and draggier, and I'm pretty sure I had to pull back even more on my stick here because I could barely clear the trees. I had almost a full deflection of my flight stick and couldn't get up, and then remembered to trim, so I started trimming it about here. Missed that tree on the right. Now, maybe I missed it, but I couldn't find any type of lever or switch inside to bring the landing gear up on the pontoon, so good thing I had, or I knew that key mapping, and I flipped to the exterior view so that I could watch the gear come up, because of course the last thing you want to do is attempt a water landing with the gear down. But look how beautiful that is. To be honest, at this point, I've almost forgotten everything because I'm so full of joy that I'm flying in my float plane. And honestly, look at that sucker. It does look good. I mean, the exterior model isn't the best model I've seen. Clearly, Carenado models are much better. The Mooney and the Cessna that they modeled are better than the stock models, and the stock models are good. But this does look pretty sweet on these exterior views, flying in around these areas in Alaska. This model clearly has a lot of problems, and to be honest, it should still be in beta. It does have a lot of potential, but I don't think this is a $40 model. It definitely isn't as it stands, and even a number of updates, if the developer stays on top of this and get these all fixed, this is probably not a $40 model. This would have to have performed perfectly, in my opinion, or near to perfectly with modern textures and interiors and everything else, and it just doesn't. It looks best here, but that's about it. But like I said earlier, I'm a sucker for float planes, and to be honest, I'd spend $40 on a good float plane. So I figure even if I do nothing with this model, but jump in every once in a while just to hop from lake to lake in my area and not even worry about proper avionics or flying IFR, screw it. I'm going to jump in, do some VFR flights up to near cottage country in my area and hop from lake to lake from the lakes and areas that I know. That's good enough for me. And as I come in here on a final approach, I'm just turning pretty aggressively to the right, and I'm going to side slip to lose a bunch of altitude and come in. Notice my speed's 80 miles an hour, and I've got quite a fast descent here in a side slip, and then I'm going to flare out and have a perfect water landing. This is my first attempt, and I'm just overjoyed that I'm going to watch this sucker skim across the water and present me with something I've just been absolutely dying for. Because let's be honest, the Icon is a Sea-Doo with wings. That's not going to satisfy any real float plane enthusiast. And here I am setting up for a final, and I'm just going to be a few mile an hour over 60, let's hope, when I touch down, and I'm barely have any speed here, vertical speed. Oh, this is going to be beautiful, and watch this skim across. Oh. What the